Gimli here, going to be doing my first California build. Going to be doing a table for my record player with some storage for records underneath, and I'm also going to be doing a bookshelf. And I'm going to be doing them in the opposite order of that. So, I just unpackaged some stuff. Let's see what I got. Moving out here to California, I found a Harbor Freight nearby. So, got me a new saw. Got me a planer. Still waiting for some sanding stuff to come in. So today's goal is to get all these 4x4s planed out and ready to be sanded. And then we'll also be getting a couple other things ready today. I got those tops to my table down there that I'm also gonna plane. But we'll see how far we get today. And then tomorrow we'll be getting sanding done, putting together a few things. Before I show you how I'm planing this, I'm gonna go ahead and show you some of my my project details here. Now, I'm not much of a freehand artist, but I do put together some ideas. So this is the first idea for the base for the table, and then I decided I'm gonna go with 4 legs. Put together all my different stuff I'm gonna be buying, some ideas for how I'm gonna paint, and my idea for how my shelves are gonna go. I'm gonna have 4x4 posts going up with a 1x10 shelving, and then I'm gonna frame the top and the bottom with them 1x2s, just kind of like framing out a building. And then I'm gonna put some back bracing in there with some 1x2s. And then I also put together my plan for how I'm gonna make this all come together. So, we'll see how I make it all come together. Now, a lot of these videos are gonna show you them doing all the different posts. I'm just gonna do one video of each. That way you can see what I do with the posts, and then I'll show you how I reset everything so I get moving plane and have to do a second pass. So my first pass, I just have it set to 1/32. I'm gonna do a single pass on each side, and then I'll reset my planer so when I go over the other side, I don't cut too deep on the other side. Now, if you have the room, make sure you do all your posts first on the one setting, and then go and readjust and go and do it again. I don't have that much room, so I got all 4 sides of this done because I did 2 passes already beforehand. I'm gonna readjust my gauge here on the side to 1/32. And you're just gonna go by those lines there if you're using the hand planer. And now when you press your board, press that on one side of the board, now you're not gonna be cutting in and getting your board all uneven. And the only downside to this size of bag is you really need to empty it after every pass. But now that I'm going to be cutting less off, it's going to be even easier. Get a couple passes done and then empty that out. That went really good. Got minimal sanding to do after this is all done, and that was the goal. Take a look, our planer did pretty good throughout there. If you look over here, it's the other one we did. Did pretty darn good. We still got, oh, this is the side we haven't done yet. So if you look down there, you're gonna see that there's that little hump there, and that's what that gauge is gonna keep this side of the board from getting cut twice, and then you're only cutting that part of the board. So planing's working real good. very happy about that purchase from Harbor Freight. Just got the Chicago Electric one. Works out pretty darn good for what I'm doing. But I'm gonna get the rest of these boards playing, and I'm not gonna make y'all watch me do that. I'm gonna listen to some music or something. All right. Here, I'll try to give you a different angle to show you the planer from the other side. And I'll do the same thing when I adjust. Now the rain did stop around here, so I am going to be doing every one of these. Doing the first pass, all one, and then I'll be doing it my second pass with all of them at once too. Got all four sides of this one done, so this one's set off to the side. Next one ready to go. Well, as you can see, there's a difference in my post here. So what I'm going to do is set this depth guide to 1/32, which is what I had my planer set to. And that way, when I'm going over this again, I'm not making an uneven angle plane. So I'll get that all set up here. All right, so we made our adjustment on our depth guide right over here. Should give us a nice and pretty flat plane cut through here. Get that guide set. Okay. Oh, looks like I have to make one more adjustment. All right, so the depth is adjusted here. Myself one more adjustment. So far, so good. Let's see how the next one goes. there's a couple spots here I do want to go over again. Now it's looking all nice and even. A couple spots to sand down just a little bit. Maybe a little one more plane here. Woo. Overall, really impressed. It's gonna save me a lot of sand in here doing it this way. Now just to repeat on the rest of the boards. Nobody wants to watch me fast forward through all that. Okay, today we're going to be marking out our framing marks as well as our router marks. So we're going to route in 3/4 of an inch so we can slide our shelves in between the front and the back posts. From your inside to your inside of your shelves, I marked center, and from there I marked how much of a shelf I wanted for each one of these. Gave myself a little variety so I can stack more things, put a couple plants in, as well as differentiate how I put my books together. So like I said, the top and the bottom are going to be put together. I put these two next to each other, so I flattened out the bottom, and that way I can mark across using my speed square, and I have the same marks throughout. Then I'm going to take one of these boards off, put another one on, mark all the way through, get all 4 of them exactly the same. Then I'll work on getting the other 4 exactly the same. I will router out my little spots, as well as make my marks for where I'm going to be putting in my framing. Once you have it done on one, then you just got to repeat it more times until you have the frame you want. Well, let's hope everything's in frame here, but I got everything set up here. All my boards are lined up, ready to go. And I'm going to be cutting these at 7 foot. Looking good, got a nice clean cut. Okay, did want to show a little bit here on this particular saw. So I do have a couple buttons up here where I have a light, which is right down here, which is really neat. And I also have another switch for that laser light. I did want to show you. Laser light's just not really right on. It's just a little off there. And it's going to be cutting to the edge of the saw blade, where I'm more wanting the edge of the saw blade being that mark. So I've got it lined up there. Next thing I'm going to do is use this clamp here. Tighten that down. What that does is it's leveling me up a whole lot more there. So when I make this cut, I'm more right on. And I also don't have to have my hand there, which makes my mom real happy, because then I keep on my fingers. She's happy about that, I guess. So I'm gonna cut a few more here, but wanted to share that little tip. Another thing to always do, mark them. That's your top. As long as you have that side marked, you're gonna know which side's the bottom. Because even up here, I made sure to mark my route versus my cut. Having everything marked out like that. All right, 4 more to go, and then I'll have the outside done. All right, to get myself a nice straight line here, I figured something out on my test board. Smart person always has a test board. So I decided to be smart for once. Looking over here, from here to here, on my particular router, it's 1 5/8 inches to get to there. Got myself a little piece of scrap wood, made sure I knew it was square. So I'm gonna have that lined up there, and I'm gonna take my loud noise making square for you. And we'll get it all squared up there. Then I'll just clamp it down and run my router. All right, now double and triple check this alignment here. So here's hoping. And after keeping everything nicely against that edge there, I got a nice straight line. Got a little bit to clean up there, but hey, it's my first time trying this out. It's gonna happen. Okay, well right now I'm gonna try to do one of them fast forwardy things for you. I've got my first one set up here. So I got my little guard there. I'm gonna be routing. My goal is to take a route this way and then cut all the way through this way. That way I don't have the split out on the ends. So let's give her a whirl. All right, in all honesty, I cut 2 boards already for my shelves, but I'm cutting my shelves at 22 inches, and I'm using 2x10s. Now with my little cutoffs here, I made a little mock-up. I'm starting out using my 150 grit sandpaper, and then I'm gonna hand sand down anything else that I see that I want to get just a little smoother, because I'm gonna be painting it instead of doing a stain. So if you're gonna be doing the stain, you might want to start at 150, but you're gonna want to eventually end like, I don't know, somewhere over 200. Now I'll show you a leg here. Now my legs here I did plane the other day, so I'll still have to make sure I'm evening out those lines. Like I got a couple right here that are just a little uneven. All right, we're looking good there. Now to repeat, and then afterwards I'll show you my hand sanding. All right, well I got one of my posts here that I have already routed out like we did yesterday. I'm gonna sand the top with my electric sander here. And then I'm gonna come in and I'm gonna sand inside all of these too. Then with one of my cutoff pieces, made this little handy sander, not sand, right in between those little spots for me. And the key is to remember to put pressure to both sides and not just go straight in the middle, because then you're not sanding down any of your sides. Because what you want to have happen is you want these to slide in snugly, but you don't want to beat your wood through there. I'm just going to continue going down as I go. By the time I get done with this, 8 hours later, it'll be all done. Alrighty, so getting everything just kind of set up here, but I have a couple more pieces still to wash off, so it's important after you sand, get all your stuff done before you stain. I'll not only sweat these off, but I'm wiping them off and letting them dry before I start to stain them. I have all these and all my posts done for my shelf. And there's tons of videos that will show you all the different stains you can use, all the techniques you can use. I am going to start with a pretty easy one. I'm just going to use the brush on, wipe off method. And then just repeat your process. The other thing that will speed you up is get yourself one of these little whizzy rollers. Roll the whole thing real quick and then again wipe it off. Pretty simple process. Now just a repeat. Well, I got Rudy out here waiting for everything to dry. Got those stacked up ready to be installed. Got that drying on that side. Those drying there, that drying there. You know what this calls for? Coffee. Stay hydrated, my friends. Well, I got the shelves all painted, and I ran out of room for where I'm gonna paint the table. I'm gonna leave, it's dried really fast, so I gotta stack those right away, save me some space. Hi, Rudy. But I'll be able to clean this up here in about an hour. And I'll work on the next project. Now to finish up these shelves here, I am going to put a clear coat on there just to make dusting a whole lot easier. And this is what I found at my local Ace. And I'm just going to be rolling it on and using one of those foam brushes. Get everything even on there. Now make sure you wash everything off again, because overnight we got some dust collected because, well, it's a dusty job. All right, well, after trying to fit this again, painting everything or staining everything and then adding the clear coat, I don't have enough room in my grooves. Well, after my router idea has failed me several times, I've decided to get out my old trusty chisel. Well, it's a beautiful rainy day here in California, and I figured out if you lay this damn thing down, put it together. It goes together really smoothly. So I'll make a video of me doing the next one, and we'll figure out what challenges we run into there. But definitely don't try to do it standing up. Lay it down for this small thing. So what I'm going to do here, I'll get 2 of these all set up. Show you how I do it. With my square, I'm going 20 inches outside to outside. Gives me about an inch over. Squared up. Did good right there. And I cut these at 22, so it's about an inch overhang on each side. So line up to one side. Now I'm measuring my inch over here. So I'm just pretty close when I get these lined up. Slid in pretty darn well. Now that shelf is all together. Here with a little touch up here and there from just being outside for a couple weeks. And they're ready to go up. Well, I got all these shelves done and ready to go in the house and ready to be having books stacked on them once the touch up dries. But I'm gonna let you know a few things that I learned. Thing number one, make those slots just a little bit bigger than you think. Like 1/8 of an inch will do. You know, you don't need to go 1/4 inch or anything like that. Take away a little strip at a time when you're doing your routing and you're taking out a big chunk. Take the time to do it. It turns out so much better when you do that. Also, check where you're putting your router. It's different than a saw by a long shot, so check that all out. What else did I learn? Always have more clamps and always have an extra workbench. So anything will do for a workbench. I used a cooktop, I got this counter thing that my parents' friends gave me, and we found a countertop for it. Use that as a workbench. Oh, my favorite though. I always have plenty of boxes around just to stack stuff on while it dries. That is handy. I mean, everything I did on this video, you can do with just your regular hand tools and your regular power tools. Like, you don't need a router. Each one of these sections here, you can cut out with just your regular old circular skill saw. It's just you make a lot of passes, a little bit of chisel work, and some sanding to get it all done. You can do all of that. All of this was built out of common wood. Just be pickier than I was when you're picking out your thinner boards, and be a little pickier when you're picking out your 4x4s. Another thing I would have done with them being this short, only 22 inches, I would have used 2x4s instead of 4x4s, or I would have found 3x3s. Been a much better option, easier to use, plus you'd have more visible shelf space to use. So that's some stuff I figured out. If you have any questions, hit it in the comments. Other than that, like, subscribe, hit that notification if you want to see what else I'm up to. I got plenty. Well, since we have it up, it's wonderful. It holds all the books I'm looking for it to hold. I do have to say that I would have preferred 2x4s or 3x3s instead of these 4x4s for the small space that they're in. Now, if I was ever going to do a huge one, I would absolutely love to do 4x4s again. It was such a fun project, and I highly recommend it to anybody who's looking into doing some more storage around the house or around their shop. It's a great idea. Don't forget to like, subscribe, turn on the notifications, share with your friends and family. Also, if you have any questions, please comment below, shoot me an email. Would look forward to helping you out. Thanks.